Vice President of Service Delivery for the International Legal Technology Association, and welcome to Tea with Me. Today I have Amy with me. Amy, welcome.
Thank you, Dawn.
Amy, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Amy Monaghan. I'm Senior Practice Innovations Manager at Perkins Coie. I live in Portland, Oregon. I've lived here for the past 4 years. Before that, I was in Chicago for a really long time, 17 years. I moved to Chicago for college, stayed for law school, never meant to stay for 17 years, but life happens. And so that I really consider myself a Chicagoan at heart. But for the past 4 years, my husband and I have really enjoyed Portland and the Pacific Northwest, and we're pretty quickly becoming Pacific Northwesters.
That is an absolutely beautiful part of the country.
It's easy to love.
Yeah, it is. This is completely off topic, but the first time I went, we took a drive, and I remember looking over to the side and seeing the scenery looking just like a painting that I had seen before.
Yeah.
And wondering why the painter at that time that I saw the painting painted things the way that they did. But when I saw it, it's like, that's truly what it looked like.
Yep.
And it was so surreal. It was absolutely stunning.
Yeah, my husband and I, we knew we wanted to move away from Chicago. We had a few cities in mind, and so we're type A people. So we made a list of all the cities that we were going to consider, and we had a plan that we were going to go visit each one, a few times and narrow it down and figure it out. Portland was number one on the list just because we had never been here. And quickly it was the city. And the first time we visited out here, we took a drive. It's really easy. It's like depending on traffic, 45 minutes to an hour drive to the coast. And when we were coming up on the coast and you see like the haystack rocks and the cliffs and the ocean, I was like, nope, sold. This is where we have to live.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Well,
yep.
Congratulations on your find and for living.
Thank you.
That's pretty neat. So, so Tea with Me is basically on leadership. And so one of the first questions I want to ask you is, I want you to think about all the people in your life who have contributed to who you are at this point. And we call these people trailblazers, or people who live a legacy and leave a legacy behind. People who kind of challenge you in the way that you work and how you live, and what that means going forward. So what does that mean to you, and who in your life has influenced you in that way?
Ooh, so lots of people at different times in my life, but certainly there's a few standouts. So my path to legal is weird. I mean, it's not weird to me because it's my path, but for others that have been in this industry a while, it's a little odd. So I have a background in fine art. I went to art school. That's actually why I moved to Chicago, to go to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. And while I was in art school, I had the pleasure of taking a couple of classes with this professional, kind of famous photographer, and got to know her really well, and her husband, and ended up working for them as a studio assistant for many years. And I would say that I learned a lot from both of them, but particularly the wife, her name is Joy. She had a pretty lasting impact on me. I learned about the business side of being an artist and what it meant to run a professional art studio. Also meant what it meant to be a working artist, both as an artist but also in academia, because they supported themselves both by being artists but also being teachers. And also just learning a lot from them, and her in particular, about how to look at the world differently, and how to think about the world in different ways, particularly being photographers, and that was my medium of choice, was photography. We see the world a little bit differently because we're always looking through the lens of the camera, and we're looking for a particular type of shot that we're going to get. And so being able to have that experience of being around people who think differently and approach the world in a different way was really beneficial. And that's actually what started to get me interested in potentially pursuing a legal career, because along the way I met many professional artists who had business issues, but they also had legal issues, and they were dirt poor because they were artists, and artists don't make a whole lot of money. It's actually not a very glamorous lifestyle, contrary to popular belief. And so that kind of got my wheels turning about what I could do in combination with this art experience. And then from there in law school, there were a few professors in particular who were interested in what I was trying to do with my arts background and experience and a legal degree. And so kind of took me under their advisement and helped me craft my own legal education. I didn't do sort of like the traditional paths within law school. I was able to put together kind of a panel of multidisciplinary professors who really helped guide my education. And then after law school, you know, in my professional career, again, there's been multiple people along the way who have helped me be able to craft this interesting career. And I would say in my current organization, Perkins Coie, thankfully, I have lots of people who serve in this mentorship and leadership capacities, too many to name, but I will call out my current boss, Gwen McAlpin. She has been extremely instrumental and helpful and helped me kind of figure out what it means to be an innovator in legal and within the Perkins Coie organization. And we talk about it all the time.
That's fantastic. So when you think about these different people who have contributed to crafting where you are now, what are some of those attributes? What do they look like? Are they similar? Are there differences?
So I think that all of them have the commonality of pushing me to, no one's going to give me an answer, right? But really pushing me to think through what certain things mean for me in that time. So whatever particular thing is on the table at the time, rather than saying you should do this, digging in, understanding sort of like what's going on beneath the surface. What are the outcomes that I'm working towards? What are the outcomes that would be for the benefit of whoever I'm working with? And guiding me to come up with how I'm going to proceed rather than just telling me you need to go and do this. And I think that that's really beneficial. I mean, it gets back to, you know, coming from that arts background rather than just forging down a path that's already been paved for me, just seeing the world in a different way and kind of figuring things out based on current circumstances. So I think they all have that common, just helping me find ways and strategies to figure things out for myself. Another one would be just the absolute openness and kindness to leverage their own networks to help me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my network has expanded exponentially because of my network. So every person in my network that I can go to is more than willing to, you know, open up their network for me. And that's been really beneficial.
That's fantastic. So when you think about the people who have mentored you and you think about the key attributes that they've brought to the table, how do you pay it forward? How do you mentor and work with people, whether it be, in your firm or heavens, you're probably involved in other arts pieces out in the community, especially living in Portland, Oregon. That's a wonderful place for that. What are some ways that you mentor and how do you see that relating?
So I try to be available for that to happen. You know, nothing goes as planned. We'll just say that.
That's
so
true.
I try, you know, it's really hard with busy schedules for sure, but I try to be as available as possible, certainly to others in the organization and others in the community and in the industry. There's a few like mindful, thoughtful efforts that I've been involved with that have been really helpful. We've participated with law school programs where we've had groups of law students come in and do hands-on learning exercises with us for an entire semester. And that was a good opportunity for some ad hoc mentorship and to this day, stay connected with a few of students. And then others in the industry, certainly through ILTA and through other organizations, through networking opportunities, you meet people at different stages in their career. And at any given time, I can reach out to them for advice, but the same, they can reach out to me based on what's going on. So, just trying to make time and be available for whatever and whomever comes up is really the biggest thing. And then, harkening back to what I was saying, the common characteristic about the people who've helped me is I'm not going to tell anyone what to do. I'm going to give them some, perspective based on my experiences, but really listen and have conversations that will help them think through how they might want to proceed rather than say, you need to go and do this.
That's good advice. That's good advice no matter where you are on your journey, and a good reminder too, especially if you've been on a journey a lot longer in your career. You've been, I'm not sure how long you've been involved in ILTA, but the time that you have been involved, what has benefited you most? What are you able to take away from your involvement?
So I actually owe my current career to ILTA. When I came out of law school, I went to work at a arts not-for-profit, and I was the only attorney on staff, and I was a baby attorney, had no idea what I was doing. And I wore many, many hats. You work for a nonprofit organization, you understand that everyone in the organization wears many hats. So I was doing multiple roles, and one of the roles was actually in charge of fundraising efforts. And so I inherited a really nasty, poorly maintained database. And so I quickly had to teach myself about relational databases and what it meant to clean data. And I actually did an entire database. We burned it down and we built one from the ground up, So I was doing a lot of research and self-learning on all of these different aspects of doing the many jobs that I had at the organization. And a lot of the resources that I was able to find on certainly relational databases, but then also for document automation, because I was also doing some legal work at the organization. And I was building process maps, and I was trying to bulk automate agreements using mail merge and Excel. And so I was doing a lot of research here, and that actually led me to the ILTA website. And I was able to watch a lot of on-demand videos about document automation and databases. And then I stumbled on the Career Center portion of ILTA and found a few job postings and realized that what I was doing actually had a name, and I'd go and make a career for it, either at a law firm or another organization. And so that's actually what led me back into law firms. There was an opening at my previous firm for a knowledge management analyst, and I read the description, and it was basically everything that I was doing, but it sounded cooler. And so that's how I got started down this legal innovation path. Yeah. So it's true. I owe my current career to ILTA because I was able to find those resources and educate myself on how to do my job better, but then also it opened up this entire world of possibility for me.
That's fantastic. So if you could take all of your trailblazing knowledge, your leadership knowledge, and everything you have gleaned from that aspect, and you could boil it down to one word or one phrase that you could share with others, what would that be?
I don't think I can do one word. We'll do 6 words. I think it's going to be curious, be proactive, and be mindful.
Perfect. Amy, thank you so much for joining me on Tea with Me.
Thanks,
and
Dawn.
I look forward to connecting with you in person, hopefully soon.
Yes, me too. Thank